and welcome to the Canadian Pavilion of the COP27 conference. Throughout the week, we will be running a number of panel discussions, presentations, and workshops, all addressing Canada's role and future in tackling climate change. We hope you enjoy our guest speakers this year. We have a true variety of government ministers and corporate executives, all to lecture you on vague topics and empty promises. Please, don't be alarmed by the number of gas company and banking CEOs present in the audience. They're just here to make sure their investments aren't in any real danger. Unfortunately, no panel discussions will cover the ongoing deforestation of Canada's Pacific Northwestern temperate rainforests, or the pollution of our major water systems, or the oppression of Indigenous rights to sustainable hunting and fishing on their own territories. In fact, nothing of substantial impact will be discussed this week, because frankly, our pavilion is bullshit. Something I've learned in my studies is that every exhibit has a narrative, from the permanent collections of the British Museum to this Canadian pavilion. There is a story woven into the presentation of information, a sort of authorized discourse with authorizing people. This whole thing, what you see here, this is a well-crafted cover to pacify our international image and undermine the atrocities we've committed perpetuating climate instability. If I could tell you the truth about my country, it would be that we're in deep denial of our ecological footprint, just as much as we are in denial of our own history. My nation was founded as a colonial enterprise of an imperial power. Exploitation, overconsumption, mass production, these are not just the roots of our current climate instability. These are the pillars of my society. This is what my country was made to do. In order for Canadians to ever fully resolve the exploitative relationship we have established with the land, we must first come to fully realize that colonialism never ended, that all of our history is intertwined with our present, and that only by studying this past can we reshape the narrative that binds us to these current conditions. Decolonial studies, and indeed the archaeology of colonialism, can help us to deconstruct how these models of subsistence first emerged, sifting through the physical remains that built them, not only the instruments of colonial practices, but the artifacts that contributed to fabricating our very identities. There is a drastic need for evidence of our true colonial past, evidence which can perhaps only be found in the raw and revealing data of archaeology, the real things that made us who we are, our trash. Archaeology is extremely relevant and potentially helpful to solving these issues. If we look at research being done on the Paleolithic habitation of Canada's eastern provinces, by assessing known sites of past human activity, archaeologists are able to create predictive models to reconstruct how larger populations likely survived within post-glacial environments. This in turn helps us to understand how people adapted to living through periods of dramatic climate change, adopting new food and resource subsistence patterns, migrating through new regions, and finding new ways to interact with their landscape. Archaeology gives us a physical portrait of this past, something concrete to compare our contemporary surroundings with, and maybe even offering us the adaptive solutions to our own climate challenges. All of the knowledge we need to reshape our relationship to the Earth is already there. If we listen, if we observe, if we take to heart the lessons of the past and acknowledge that the structures of colonial society we have built are the very causes of our instability. People have lived in balance with these lands for thousands of years, and archaeology is proof of their ability to do so, to mitigate what they take from the environment and still create meaningful communities and beautiful cultures. Only with the arrival of us, the colonizers? Do we see the balance disrupted and the rate of ecological destruction increase? We have to reflect on our foundations. We have to look at the stratigraphy of our deeds and make better choices.